What happens when you hit a unicorn with your car and take it to a pharmaceutical billionaire's mansion? That's not a riddle. It's the setup for Death of a Unicorn. It sounds absurd. It is absurd. But also, it's clever, it's bold, and it somehow gets kind of spiritual by the end. Today we're talking mythical creatures, moral decay, and one wild ride with Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega. Let's get into it, because what starts as a bizarre roadkill incident turns into something way deeper. So what's the story? Elliot, Paul Rudd, is a corporate lawyer called up to the secluded estate of his boss, Odell, Richard E. Grant, a powerful pharmaceutical mogul who's dying and ready to put his affairs in order. Elliot's not just there to tie up loose ends, though. He's hoping this trip might help him move up in the company. So he brings his teenage daughter Ridley, Jenna Ortega, thinking the whole family man act might score him a few extra points. But their relationship is tense. Ridley's still grieving the loss of her mom, and Elliot's been emotionally distant. Then, while driving through a nature reserve on the way to Odell's estate, they hit a unicorn. Ridley touches the horn and has a strange vision. Elliot, panicking and unsure what else to do, grabs a tire iron and puts the creature out of its misery. They toss the body in the trunk and keep moving. Once they arrive, they meet Odell's family, his loyal wife Belinda, Tea Leone, who's doing everything she can to keep her husband alive, and their erratic, unpredictable son, Shepard, Will Poulter. But just when they think it's over, the unicorn comes back to life. And when one of Odell's guards shoots it again, they discover its blood has miraculous healing powers. That's when things go off the rails. This cast came to play. Paul Rudd keeps it grounded. Elliot's trying to hold himself together, juggling grief, ambition, and the guilt of killing a mythical creature. It's a quieter performance than we're used to seeing from him, but it works. Jenna Ortega brings real intensity to Ridley. She's not just angry, she's heartbroken, suspicious, and spiritually shaken. She's the emotional core of the film, and Ortega carries that weight beautifully. Richard E. Grant is perfectly cast as Odell. He's elegant, sharp, and deeply manipulative, willing to do anything to stay alive, even if it means bleeding a unicorn dry. Tea Leone as Belinda is more complex than she first appears. She's not cold, she's desperate. Every move she makes is motivated by love for her husband, even if it crosses moral lines. You can see the weight of what she's willing to live with. And Will Poulter is absolutely hilarious as Shepard. Loud, wild, and completely unpredictable, he injects just the right amount of chaos to keep the film from getting too self-serious. Alex Sharfman, who wrote and directed the film, deserves credit. He threads a very tight needle, balancing satire, family trauma, and fantasy horror in a way that somehow works. The only weak spot are the unicorns themselves. The CGI's not great. They look a little cartoonish, but once the story locks in, you're too invested to care. Underneath the blood and magic, this is a story about reconnection, corruption, and survival. Elliot and Ridley are fractured. The death of her mom left a hole neither of them knows how to fill. But there's a moment, quiet and honest, where Elliot shares a promise he made to his wife, that he would always be there for Ridley. That moment is when things shift. But what really lands is Ridley's vision, the one she had when she touched the unicorn's horn. She tells her dad, "This world isn't the end. We all go back to where we came from." It reframes everything. The unicorn isn't just some magical anomaly. It's part of a bigger truth, a spiritual one. A reminder that there are things in this world we're not meant to own, explain, or exploit. But it's not just emotional, it's horrific. As the story unfolds, the tone leans hard into horror. There's body horror, violent chaos, and an overwhelming sense of dread. The unicorn is majestic, but it's also terrifying. And when the other unicorns show up, it's full-on survival mode. Death of a Unicorn is a horror movie in disguise. The gore hits hard, the tension builds slowly, and when it breaks, it doesn't let go. This movie also critiques Big Pharma, for sure. This movie takes a clear swing at the pharmaceutical industry. Its greed, its obsession with control, its willingness to monetize pain, illness, and even the sacred. The unicorn becomes the ultimate cure, and everyone wants to cash in. But the more they try to contain it, the more things unravel. Because some things, like healing, like nature, like death, aren't meant to be managed by corporations. Death of a Unicorn is strange, but in all the right ways. The tone is bold, the writing is tight, the performances are dialed in, and Alex Sharfman takes a wild premise and gives it meaning. Sure, the unicorn CGI could have been stronger, but the story sticks the landing. It's weird, it's emotional, and it's a rare kind of original. Here's what I walked away with. Not everything in life is meant to be fixed, or sold, or saved. Some things, like love, like death, like unicorns, are just part of a bigger mystery, and maybe that's enough. That's it for today's review. Did Death of a Unicorn surprise you like it did me, or was it too far out? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss a review. Until next time, stay bold, stay mythical, and always stay rated.